AI has been around for a bit, but recently it's become way more accessible for the average Jane like me. ChatGPT, Midjourney, Dall-E, AI is everywhere, and you can't escape them. This artist won first prize in a state art fair competition, and this comic book generated using AI was granted copyright protection for its arrangement, but not for the actual images. The question? Is this fair or even legal? Now, I'm no lawyer and in no way qualified to give legal advice, but I did some research anyway to see what I could find. First, let's see what AI has to say about this. Can I copyright AI generated work? All right, so we got a really long answer. I'm not gonna read the whole thing out to you, but basically it depends on the jurisdiction. Yes, that makes sense. I'll discuss this a little bit more. It also says that copyright protection is granted to the original author, which typically means a human creator, and that there needs to be kind of a lot of human input. I did touch upon that as well. And then it also says if the AI system created it entirely on its own with no human input, then we probably can't get copyrights. So this all kind of makes sense with my research because what AI does, it just collects all this data from the internet, which is also how I research, but AI does it much faster than I can do it. So let's see how this works. Typically, AI is trained to compile data created by humans from the internet, which on its own can be copyrighted. OpenAI claims that data used to train the AI is fair use, but it's not clear yet what the legal interpretation might be and how that would play out in court. So other people's data can be used to train AI, but what is done with the AI after could call for infringement. This video is actually an example of fair use since it has copyrighted work that I'm using for educational purposes to explain copyrights and AI to you. Copyrights do become unclear though when bits and pieces of data are thrown together to create new data, especially if it's used commercially. So, is it legal? Experts are split. Some say that generative AI is definitely capable of infringing copyright and could face serious legal trouble, while others say that generative AI is completely legal and any lawsuits would fail. But the truth is, nobody really knows how something like this would play out in court. Yet, the US and the EU actually have a similar stance. They both say that human input has to be considered. So that is, copyright could be possible in cases where the creator can prove substantial human input. The UK, however, plans on keeping its current copyright protection laws where they say computer-generated works without a human author are also legit. So let's use some AI to look at some examples. I'm actually going to use Midjourney here as an example, and we are going to create a few prompts. So I'm going to say, create a t-shirt design with a sloth rocking out on the guitar. Clearly I like sloths. If you've seen some of our other videos, I've used this example before. Anyway, so while this is generating, this is a pretty generic prompt, right? Chances are of me getting a copyright for this image are pretty slim. And it's probably not infringing on anybody else's copyrights because again, it's just so generic. So let's see what it comes up with here. And while we're still waiting then, we can actually look at Midjourney's terms of service here, where they say, if you are not a paid member, you don't actually own any of the assets you create. So already, if you're using a free version of this, we can't get copyrights. And if we look a little bit further at their free trial, I don't know, what you get with the free trial, we see down here that it's NC, meaning it's non-commercial. So if we're using a free version of this, we actually can't use any of these t-shirt designs to sell. And now it's ready. And these are actually pretty funny. But the point being is I would not be able to copyright this or sell it on a t-shirt if I'm using the free version. Now, let's look at a second example. Again, I have to type in imagine to prompt my prompt. And this time I'm gonna type in, let's see, t-shirt design with a sloth, Disney Cinderella. So now in this case, I'm manipulating this prompt to follow the works of a very specific artist, Disney, right? Now there would be a much stronger case against infringement for this particular prompt. And while we're waiting for this to load, we're gonna look at Midjourney's terms of service again. If we scroll down just a smidge, we'll actually see here, they say, if you knowingly infringe someone else's intellectual property and that costs us money, we're going to come find you and collect that money. So basically, just don't do that. Okay, this is really cute, my little Cinderella sloth. But in short, the more I manipulate this to look like Cinderella, the more I'm using somebody else's style of art or their work, then the bigger case against infringement there is for me. In short, it really comes down to how much human creativity is involved. An image created by AI that's further edited with Photoshop, for example, is much more likely to be approved for copyright than the original image spit out by the AI. And it must be disclosed in the copyright registration process that AI was involved. So you might want to ask yourself, does the generated content threaten the market for the original artist? So even though it's tough to give a straight answer at this point on its legality, AI can be a powerful and fun tool if used appropriately. So do you think AI could be good for your business? Play around and let us know. And of course, I'm not gonna let you escape without hitting those like and subscribe buttons.